Blessings in the name of the Lord Jesus. Welcome to Paraclete TV, making disciples through the power of the Holy Spirit. The steps in designing PBA by Gabullo and D, 2013. Now, the first one, of course, they have similar. Define the purpose of assessment. Now, it was already discussed with you that what is the purpose of assessment? It can be a diagnostic, or the assessment is diagnostic, the assessment is formative, or the assessment is summative. So, these three can be differentiated by when are you going to use them. When you do a performance assessment before the actual development of the lesson, we call that as diagnostic assessment. But while you are developing the lesson, say for example, you have already presented the lesson, then you are now developing it for the major part of the hour or of the session, and then you do some periodic assessment. If they understand the lesson that you are developing, we call that as formative assessment. So formative PBA is conducted during the development of the lesson, just to know if the students are just gaining or understanding the sub-concept of the major concept that you are focusing during the session. And the last one, it can be a summative PBA, and if the diagnostic is before the development, formative is during the development, a summative PBA is conducted at right after the development of the lesson. So a summative PBA must be graded, and it is something like giving a quiz when you do a cognitive domain. But when you are after more than the cognitive domain, in higher order thinking skills, you want also to look into the affective domain, and of course to the psychomotor domain. You will be doing that at the remaining when I do it, I just say that it's about a quarter of the session. If you have 1 hour session, the 15 minutes will be the maximum time in conducting a PBA. So there is really a need of designing the PBA so that the time will be consumed productively and not wasted. Okay, the second one is you have to describe the skills or the learning outcomes, and of course the taxonomy that are to be assessed during the performance base. So the skills, the learning outcomes, and the taxonomy. So you have already understand what are skills. The skills are the divided competencies, as we have already defined. If the competency is playing basketball, there are different skills in playing basketball. Say for example, dribbling the ball, shooting, or passing the ball, something like that. Those are examples of skills. And the skills are of course divided into smaller tasks, or we call that as ability. No, there are students who are good in dribbling the ball, but there are students who are fair in dribbling the ball. There are also students that are excellent in dribbling the ball. So we can have that as the ability of the student. So from a bigger target, which is called, we call that as competency. It can be divided into skills, and a skill is divided into ability. Then you have your learning outcomes. What you are really after while you are developing the lesson. So the learning outcomes is also similar with the learning objective in terms of classroom scenario, or in terms of a class session. If the class session is 40 minutes, or if the class session is 1 hour or 1.5 hours. In our course in EdProof 8, we have 3-hour session. So 3-hour session. So you what do I expect from you? Of course, I've already shared that as our learning intended outcome, or ELO, no, and it was already enumerated during the start of this discussion. And of course, the taxonomy level. So it is very important to master the level of taxonomy. And then the third one is design the activity or the performance task. In designing the activity or the performance task, you have to consider the following. One, the time. No, if it is a session, of course, there is limited time. The resources must also be considered. If the resources are found inside the room, or are they going to go out, or have you required the students to bring those resources? Or, of course, the data to be collected and the relatedness of all the performance tasks that you will be requiring of from the students based from the purpose or from the skills or learning outcomes in the taxonomy level that you have already written or posted in your lesson plan. So these are now the examples. Say for example, there is a question: what does the doing of math, history, science, and feel like the professionals who make the living working in those fields in the real world? Okay, so this is the application of mathematics, history, science to the real world. What are you going to do? You can ask your students to have a hands-on exercises, or you can ask them to make a product out of what you have done. Then next we have question number 2, example of the task. What are the projects and tasks performed by professionals that can be adapted to instruction? What are the example of performance tasks that you can require from your students? You can ask them to make a business letter. You can ask the students to do a multimedia presentation, or you can also ask a poem to make them, or to compose a poem or a song for your students to, of course, to synthesize the lesson. So this time, let us define or explain what are performance tasks. When we say performance tasks, these are some or things that the students must do to show that they have already understood the lesson, or what they have gained or they have missed from the development of the lesson. There are many examples of performance tasks. You can ask your students to build a house using sticks. You can have them in biology to dissect frogs. So dissecting frogs can be an example of a task. Drawing map of the Philippines in history or in social studies. Writing a poem, or writing a sports story in English, or in some literatures or communication skills. You can also ask your students to translate an English paragraph to another language. Say for example, you are teaching a foreign language, you will be asking your students a certain paragraph to be translated into, say for example, a Japanese or Nihongo, or you can ask your students to translate it into a Spanish language. Dancing, skate are examples of performance tasks. Or of course, you as a teacher, when you are already in your 4th year, you will be asked to have a practice teaching, and you will do the actual teaching. We can call that as mock teaching. So these are just examples, and you can think of many examples that will serve as a performance task to be used as an assessment for grading the students, not only cognitive but of course affective as well as other psychomotor skills. Choosing what performance task must be required from the students, you must have the following guidelines. These are now the guidelines or the tips to choose the most perfect or the most accurate performance tasks that you will be requiring of from your students. Number one, as it was already emphasized, it must be congruent to the purpose. Now your purpose, as I told you, must be reflected out of your lesson plan, must be reflected of the syllabus, must be reflected of the curriculum guide. In a public school or in the Department of Education, these purpose or objectives are already stated in their Philippine learning competencies. Now, this must be, the performance task must be congruent. No? Next, the performance task that you're going to choose must elicit behaviors at the levels stated in instructional outcomes. If the level is only cognitive, or if the level is a combination of cognitive and affective, or what taxonomy, or what levels in cognitive, or what levels in affective, or even in psychomotor, you have to really look into the instructional outcomes. Next guideline, it must be, the performance task must be interesting, it must be challenging, and it must also be fair to all. So it must be interesting if the students will know that they can relate to it. It is challenging if it will not only require what they know, but they will be discovering something out of it. And it must be fair to all, meaning all your students must participate and must have an equal chance to really show and execute the task that you are requiring them. So in grouping the students, you must of course give equal chances to all your students to be in the group. If you are going to give the performance task by threes, so they must also be equal chances to be in a group of three. That is being fair to all, because when we say fair to all, it is not only confined on giving them equal opportunity to execute, but of course equal time. They must also have the same time in preparation, and they must also have the same time in the execution. So everything must be clear in the performance task assessment. Okay, the next tip to have a good performance task, it must be authentic. When we say it must be authentic, it can be seen in the real world, or it must already be experienced by the student, or if they have not yet experienced it, they will be experiencing it in the future. Or if they have not experienced it, they have seen it in the television, and they are also they know that it will happen in the real world. So it is making the performance task authentic. It must also be properly assessed. So how are you going to properly assess the performance task? By preparing, of course, your scoring scheme. It must direct what, how, and what condition is to be done. So you must prepare everything. The guidelines must be clear, and of course every aspect of the performance task must be looked into, so that all the students will understand, and everything, your expectations will be met, because everything is laid on the table. So next, number 4, steps in designing the performance-based assessment by Gabuyo is define the performance criteria. And here is the guidelines for defining the performance criteria. The first one, identify the overall performance or task to perform and assess. So you must know what the task is, and then list the important aspects of the performance. What say for example, you are asking the students to do a role play. What are the important aspects of the role play? Say for example, one important aspect of the role play is the problem to solve. The second one, how they will do the acting. Or the third one, how the role is distributed to all the members. Those are called an example of the aspects of performance. Then limit the number of criteria, because you will be grading the performance of many students, so you have to limit the number of criteria. Maybe 4 or 5 criteria are acceptable for a certain performance. Advisably, as group of teachers, if they have already had a rubrics about that, or if they don't have, you can discuss with them to have a very valid and reliable criteria in grading a certain performance. Avoid using ambiguous words. So it's good to express the criteria in a word, in a concept that is understood not only by you but of course by students, so that you will have the same meaning of the word that you are using, of the words that you are using as criteria in grading. Then arrange criteria chronologically, meaning they must the criteria which has a heavier weight must be placed the first criteria, then the second which has a lesser weight will be at the bottom of the criteria. Say for example, in a role play, the content or the problem, the solution of the problem must have the biggest weight, as compared to how they will execute or how they have distributed the roles to all the students. Then of course check if there is already an existing criteria. And then the next one, after you have defined in defining the performance criteria, there are types of performance criteria. One, impact. Now, when we say impact, is the performance has already given the purpose and the goals or have solved the problem. Second, the work quality, the overall organization and difficulty of the task. Because in our example, in a role play, there are students who will do it so organized, and the roles were distributed properly, and they have already presented how the problem is solved during the role play. Then the adequacy of method and behavior, or the manner of presentation, is also a very good criteria to consider in most of the performances. And then the validity of the content, meaning any performance must of course be focused on the content as cited by the objective. So you are looking into the correctness of ideas.
Share Jesus. Subscribe, share Paraclet TV. Go, go, go.